Okay, in this video we're going to set up Pong. Uh, we just got to set up the board that we're going to use, and I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. I have an empty project here that I just started and I named it Pong. I've already imported my virtual hammer. We're not using it in this video, but I imported it, and you can see the instructions for that in the other assignments. The import and use diagram. It's virtual hammer diagram, and that's going to be how we do our visual scripting. But for right now, we're just going to set up this scene real quick. So I'm in the scene. The first thing we have to do is make sure that we are set up correctly. The Z is going into the screen, X is right, and Y is up. Make sure you're set up this way. And I'm going to take my camera, and I already have it here, but I'm going to reset the transform on this camera. I have to change some things back here. Hold on 1 second. I think this was blue before. Yeah. This is how you're going to start out. You're going to start out more like this. But I reset the transform on my camera because I want it to be at 0. And I'm going to pull it back in the Z negative 10. Negative 10. I'm going to type in negative 10 and pull it back there on the Z. So that's the setup. Make sure that Z is going into the screen, X is right, Y is up. Click on this, reset your transform, negative 10 there. I'm going to right click in my hierarchy, go to 3D object, make a cube. We're going to make this whole thing out of cubes. And I'm going to name this floor. I'm going to reset its transform. And I'm going to scale it out. This is going to be the floor for Pong. And if I click on the camera, I can see that I have this object right here. So I'm going to take this floor and I'm going to move it down some. Then click on the game view to see how far that went down. Let's see. Let's just put it at, let's put this at negative 5. So I'm going to click this and set this at negative 5. I'm going to click it, hit Control D, duplicate it. And this one, with this selected that I duplicated, I'm going to make this positive 5. And I'm going to name this ceiling. Ceiling. There we go. And let me look in the game. And it's probably too close together for this. So I'm going to click on the main camera, go back to the scene. I'm going to pull this out even more on the Z. Let's pull it way out. Pull it out to negative 20. Negative 20. And I'm going to go to floor and make this negative 10. Negative 10. And I'm going to go to ceiling and I'm going to make this positive 10. And go back to my camera. And now I have a little more space here to play with. So let's look at the game. That's fine. I want them a little bit bigger, so I'm going to select both of them. Click floor and control click ceiling. I can hit R and drag out to the right to scale both of them at the same time. And that's okay. So there's a few things I want to change with my camera here now that I see this. I don't want to see this skybox. So I'm going to click on the camera. In the inspector here, I'm going to click clear flag, skybox. I don't want that to be the skybox. I want it to be a solid color. Solid color, and that's not Pong color. Pong color is black, so I'm going to choose the color and click it to black. And the next thing I'm going to do is you can see that I can see the underside of this and the top side of this. I don't want this to look 3D. I want it to look 2D, so I'm going to change this projection from perspective to orthographic. And everything kind of disappeared here. And that's because you see how this turned into a cube? It was like a pyramid before, but to get it to 2D, I'm changing it to orthographic. And to see this stuff in here, I can't zoom it anymore in orthographic. I'm going to have to change this size. So I'm going to take this and scroll this size out to make this bigger until I can see that there. So 10 looks good. 10 for the values I had. Your values may differ for this, but I'd set it to orthographic. It looks 2D now. So I'm going to go back in the scene. I'm going to look at this. And I'm going to say, what do I have to do? I got to make the goals now. So I'm going to click in my hierarchy, 3D object, cube, reset its transform, scale it up, make sure it covers that, hit W, and I'm going to bring this over to the side here. Let me see where that's at in the camera view. I can't see it there. Camera. It's a little too much. That looks about right. I can also lock this camera. If I click this lock button right here, I can lock the camera so I always see this. Make sure you unlock it or this is always going to stay up. So I can click this cube, and now that I have that locked, it's going to stay up there. And I can just move it to the outside of the screen here. And then I can duplicate it, Control D, and drag this new one over to right off the screen there. And I'm going to name this one, click on it, left goal. And I'm going to name this one right goal. Great. Now I need paddles. So in the scene, I'm going to make sure I click on camera and unlock this because I don't want this just to stay up here. So right click, cube, reset transform, R, hit R, scale it up so it looks like a paddle. Hit W, bring it over to the side. And that is my left paddle. And the last thing I need is a ball. So ball's easy. 3D object cube, reset transform. And I might want it a little smaller, so I'm going to hit R and then grab the white one in the middle and do that. And so I'm going to name this ball. And if I look at it in the game view, I have a setup for Pong. I have a ceiling, I have two ceiling floor, 2 goals left and right, a left paddle, and a ball. Now I'm going to let you do the right paddle when you make this stuff, but I just wanted to show you the basic setup for how to get this working. And we're going to start adding scripts to it to get it functional in a bit. You can see that it's important that everything on here is on the 0Z, because if it's not, this ball is not going to hit these things, and it's just going to fly out of the world. So it's important that everything is on the 0Z. But that's the setup for Pong, so we're going to do some cool stuff and put some scripting on this and make it work. So thank you.